Hello students, in today's video we are going to discuss about module 3, that is political and legal environment. So let us first study what is political environment. Political environment is the state government and its institutions, legislation, and the public and private stakeholders who operate and interact with or influence the system. So basically, political environment consists of state government, central government, and all the government that rule the country, not just them, but also the institutions and legislation and all other stakeholders who interact and influence the system. Now every country has its own political system, so this political systems plans, policies, and programs directly or indirectly influence the business. So let us now study in detail about the factors of political environment that influence a business organization. First is political system. Now what is this political system? Political system is nothing but how is the political background of the country. Basically, there are two types of political systems that a country can have. Either a country can have democratic system, or it can have autocratic or authoritarian system. So first let us understand what is democratic system. Now in democratic system, what happens is the government is selected by the people. Now people elect government under the system. People's representatives, that is MP or MLAs, are elected through elections, and these people rule the country. Now as these people are elected or they are selected by the people, they will understand what are the needs of people and society, and they rule the government in order to satisfy the needs of people. This kind of environment or this kind of system provides a suitable environment for the business, as its policies are based on the needs of society. Now countries like India, Canada, UK, USA, etc., all these have democratic pattern of political system. Now in our country also, you know that we have frequent elections to select MP, MLAs. Then further there are elections to select Prime Minister. Okay, so like this, here the government is elected by the people. In short, you have to understand, if the government is selected by the people, then it is democratic system. So in our country we have democratic system of government. Okay, so as the government is selected by the people, people will try to select good government who will favor them. So if you have democratic system, means it is good for economic growth of business, because you will elect that government who can support economic activities in the country. Next is autocratic or authoritarian system. Now government under this system is controlled by a king or queen. They derive the power to rule the country and control the government by heredity. So in autocratic system, what happens is government is controlled by king or queen, that is the country is controlled by a king or queen, and they get this as heredity. Here people of the country do not appoint government, but they are selected through heredity. Earlier in India that was the case. We could see that there are many great kings who have ruled this country. So entire country was ruled by them, and all the plans, policies, and welfare of the people was taken care by government. Right? People used to not appoint in olden days. That is before independence. If you consider, we had great kings who have ruled our country. So that is nothing but autocratic system. Okay. So what is the political system in the country that will affect your business? If you have democratic system, means people will choose the government. If you have autocratic system, means your country will be controlled by king or a queen. So this is the first point that will affect your business under political environment. Now next one is constitution. Now constitution of country is one that states rights and duties of the citizens, including that of a corporate citizens. It also defines what are the powers, privileges, rights, duties that are available to citizens, including the business organization. Okay, so constitution is nothing but it is giving how the country will be ruled, what are the different acts, rules and regulations that a person has to follow when he is staying in particular country. Okay, so if your constitution is liberal, then it will give freedom to business to conduct business of their own choice. Now, for example, Constitution of USA is very liberal and it has given freedom to people to conduct legal business of their choice, except in the areas of defense, currency and foreign affairs. So only three things are reserved in case of USA, that is currency, defense and foreign affairs. So leaving these three industries, they can start their business of their own, and there are very few restrictions that are laid down in Constitution of USA. Now when it comes to India, Constitution of India is described as the biggest constitution document of the world. And our constitution can be divided into preamble, directive principles, fundamental rights, duties and other provisions. Now, so you have already studied about, you're studying about Indian Constitution as in a subject, right? So you will study in detail what our constitution consists of. So basically constitution is providing rules and regulations for every activity that you do in the country. Now we have to consider this constitution from business point of view. In constitution there are various laws which are applicable to business, just like Companies Act, Contract Act, FEMA, Consumer Protection Act, etc. So all these acts have to be applied by an business organization while it is doing business in the country. Okay, you cannot say that if I am doing business, I will do as per my flexibility. No, you have to pay tax to the government. You have to disclose to the government how you are doing the business, like what is your balance sheet, what is the profit and loss that you are earning in a particular year. Okay, so all these rules and regulations are applied to a business organization because of the constitution of the country. Now why these rules and regulations are there? Because our constitution wants that people should not do business only with profit motive. There should be welfare of the people. It should be like of all the stakeholders, whether it is investors, employees, consumer and society in general. So everyone should be benefited from business activity that is happening in the country. It is not that if you are doing business activity only you should earn profit for yourself. It should have welfare for all the stakeholders in the country. Okay, so constitution also plays an important role for business because it will provide guidelines as to how the business has to be conducted. Next is political parties. Okay. Now political environment of a nation and its effects on business, it is completely influenced by political parties and their ideas. Now every political party has its own economic and social objectives. Now you know that in our country Congress, BJP, Aam Aadmi Party, all these parties are very famous. Now every party has its own policies, it has its own objectives. Okay, and these objectives it tries to propagate with the public, especially during elections. You might see there are many politicians who give big speeches that if I am elected I will bring so and so changes in the country, but whether they fulfill all what they propagate is another story. But every political party decides its own policy. Now in our country was ruled I think more than 65 years by Congress, right? So they had different set of economic and social objectives for our country. Now under BJP government they have different set of economic and social objectives. So both have their own opinion. So this political party, whichever political party comes to power in the country, they can execute their own plans and policies. So it is left to the people which political party they want to support. Now every state has got different political parties, right? It all depends upon the people how they are electing government for their particular state, and together they form a majority and they rule the country. The next is nature of government. A government decides the economic and business policies. The nature and composition of government has significant impact on the business, because government which is strong, that is which has clear and independent majority of its own, it can implement policies of its own choice. But on the other hand, if government has got less majority, then it has to depend on other political parties for its support. It has to compromise its economic policies with the policies of supporting political party. Now let's say there are three political parties, A, B and C. If political party A has got maximum votes in all the states, then party A will rule entire country, and party B and C, if they have got less votes, then they cannot rule entire country. They can rule the area in which they have got maximum votes, and they can execute their policies in that particular place only. For if they want to bring some policies throughout the country, then they have to have mutual understanding with party A. So like this, majority of the political party plays an important role to rule the country. So no matter whichever political party comes to power, if that political party is in favor of business activities, then it is good for the country. But if it is not in favor of business activities, then country will not have rapid economic growth and development. So like this, political environment has got a big impact on business organization. So we have to first understand what is the political system of the country and accordingly plan our business activities, because some political parties may be in favor of business activities and some political parties may not be in favor of business activities. So we have to plan our business according to the political environment in the country. With this, I conclude for today. Thank you.